Everyone says not to fall for potential. But what if your potential is exactly what you need to fall for? Let's be real. You've been told that believing in potential is naive, that it sets you up for disappointment, that you should only focus on what's real and proven right now. But here's what no one tells you. Dismissing potential isn't protecting you from heartbreak. It's protecting you from growth. Today, we're flipping the script on one of the most limiting pieces of advice you've ever received. We're covering 5 truths that will change how you see yourself and others. First, why modern advice wants you to play it safe. Second, how potential is actually your greatest asset. Third, why falling for your future self is the smartest investment you'll ever make. Fourth, how to back up your dreams with action so they don't become delusions. And fifth, how to see potential in others without losing yourself in the process. 1. Why modern advice says don't. Protect yourself from disappointment. The world has become obsessed with managing expectations and avoiding disappointment. We've been trained to look at what is instead of what could be. Don't date someone for their potential. Don't invest in potential. Don't believe in potential. Just focus on the facts they say. This advice sounds wise on the surface, but it's actually teaching you to be small. It's teaching you to settle. It's teaching you that hope is dangerous and vision is foolish. And honestly, it's creating a generation of people who are so afraid of being let down that they never lift themselves up. The reason this advice exists is because potential without action is painful. Loving someone's potential while they refuse to pursue it is heartbreaking. Believing in your own potential while doing nothing about it is torture. But the solution isn't to stop believing in potential. It's to get smarter about how you engage with it. When someone tells you not to fall for potential, what they're really saying is, play it safe, don't get your hopes up, accept things as they are. But playing it safe is the most dangerous thing you can do with your life. It guarantees mediocrity. It guarantees regret. You weren't put here to manage risk. You were put here to realize possibility. 2. But potential is possibility. What you could become matters. Potential isn't fantasy. It's evidence of what's possible when the right conditions are met. Every successful person you admire was once someone's potential. Every breakthrough you've witnessed started as someone believing in what could be, not just what was. Your potential isn't some fluffy concept that exists in your imagination. It's based on glimpses you've already seen of who you can be. Those moments when you surprised yourself, those times when you rose to the occasion, those instances when you felt most like yourself. That's your potential showing up. Think about it. Every skill you have now was once potential. Your ability to read, to drive, to do your job, to love someone. All of it started as unrealized potential that became reality through practice and commitment. The mistake people make is thinking potential means guaranteed. It doesn't. Potential means possible. And possible is enough to build a life on when you're willing to do the work. Here's what's tragic. Most people have infinitely more potential than they'll ever realize because they've been convinced that believing in it is naive. They'd rather be realistic and disappointed than optimistic and challenged. But you know what's really naive? Thinking that who you are right now is all you'll ever be. Thinking that your current limitations define your future possibilities. Thinking that settling for less than you're capable of is somehow more mature than reaching for more. 3. Fall for your future self, not fantasy. Evidence-based self-belief. I want you to fall in love with the person you're becoming, not some impossible fantasy version of yourself, but the evidence-based, completely achievable version that's waiting for you to catch up. Your future self isn't a stranger. They're you with better habits, clearer boundaries, and more consistent action. They're you with the courage to do the things you know you should do. They're you with the discipline you keep saying you'll develop tomorrow. This isn't about deluding yourself into thinking you're going to become someone completely different. This is about recognizing that the best version of you already exists in potential form, and your job is to create the conditions for that person to emerge. Evidence-based self-belief means looking at your track record of growth and extrapolating forward. You've overcome challenges before. You've learned new things before. You've changed habits before. You've surprised yourself before. That's evidence that you can do it again. The person you could be in 6 months is a fantasy. They're a logical evolution of who you are right now, assuming you make better choices consistently. That's not magical thinking. That's progression. Most people are in love with their past self or obsessed with their current self, but they're terrified of their future self. They're afraid that person will require too much of them. They're afraid they won't live up to their own potential, so they sabotage it before it can disappoint them. But your future self isn't asking you to be perfect. They're asking you to be consistent. They're not asking you to have it all figured out. They're asking you to figure it out as you go. 4. Back it up with action. Dreaming without doing is delusion. Here's where potential goes to die. In the gap between inspiration and implementation. You can't just believe in your potential. You have to act on it. You can't just see what's possible. You have to make it probable through your choices. Dreaming without doing isn't optimism. It's delusion. Vision without action is hallucination. Potential without progress is just a fancy way of staying stuck while feeling good about it. The difference between potential that becomes reality and potential that stays potential is daily action. Small, consistent choices that align with who you're becoming instead of who you've been. Maya Angelou said, "If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude." Your potential is something you can absolutely change. If you're willing to change your actions, you want to be healthier, your future self exercises regularly. So what does that person do today? They move their body even if it's just for 10 minutes. You want to be more creative? Your future self makes art regularly. So what does that person do today? They create something even if it's terrible. The magic happens when you start making decisions from your future self instead of your current self. When you're tired and don't want to work out, your current self stays on the couch. Your future self moves anyway because they know how good they'll feel afterward. This isn't about massive transformation overnight. This is about micro alignments that compound over time. This is about asking yourself, what would the person I'm becoming do in this situation? And then doing that thing. Your potential becomes real one choice at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time. 5. See the potential in others with boundaries. Love, but don't fix. Now let's talk about seeing potential in other people, because this is where most people get themselves into trouble. You can absolutely love someone's potential, but you cannot love them into realizing it. Seeing potential in others is a gift when it's offered without attachment to the outcome. It becomes a curse when you make their potential your project. You are not responsible for actualizing anyone else's possibility. That's their job. You can believe in someone's capacity for growth while accepting their current choice not to grow. You can see what they could become while loving who they are right now. You can hold space for their potential without holding them hostage to it. The boundary is this: you can see it, you can encourage it, you can even model it, but you cannot force it, fix it, or make it your mission to unlock it. Other people's potential is not your responsibility to manage. Love people for who they are, not who they could be, but also don't pretend that who they are right now is all they're capable of. Both things can be true. They can be enough as they are and capable of more. Your job is to love them, not to complete them. When you fall in love with someone's potential instead of their reality, you're not really loving them. You're loving your projection of who you think they should become. That's not love. That's manipulation dressed up as hope. All right, time for tough love conclusion. You're not too idealistic. You're just scared that your best version will take actual effort. You've been hiding behind the realistic label because it feels safer than admitting you want more than you're currently creating. You've been calling your dreams unrealistic because that's easier than calling your current effort insufficient. The real reason you don't want to fall in love with your potential is because then you'd have to do something about it. You'd have to stop making excuses. You'd have to stop playing small. You'd have to stop settling for less than you're capable of because it's comfortable. You're not protecting yourself from disappointment by lowering your expectations. You're guaranteeing disappointment by refusing to reach for what's possible. Your potential isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be intentional. It's not asking you to have all the answers. It's asking you to start asking better questions. It's not asking you to change everything overnight. It's asking you to change something today. Stop calling it unrealistic when what you really mean is scary. Stop calling it impossible when what you really mean is hard. Stop calling it naive when what you really mean is, requires me to believe in myself. Your potential is not your enemy. Your excuses are. Here's what you're going to do tonight before you go to bed. Write one sentence about the person you could be in 6 months. Not some fantasy version, but the completely achievable version of you who makes better choices consistently. Then tomorrow morning, do one thing that person would do. Not 10 things, one thing. And then the next day, do it again. Your future self isn't some distant stranger. They're you with better habits. Start building the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming, one choice at a time. If this video made you remember why you started dreaming in the first place, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're building a community of people who refuse to settle for less than they're capable of. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one thing your future self would do differently? Let's start there. Remember, you're not broken, you're untrained, you're not behind, you're beginning, and your potential isn't pressure, it's permission to become who you're meant to be. Until next time, stop playing small and start playing for keeps.